You're sitting across from someone who makes your heart race, trying desperately to say the right things, to be the perfect version of yourself. Your phone buzzes with their text, and you feel that familiar rush of validation. But deep down, something feels wrong. You're losing yourself in the process of trying to win someone else. Here's what nobody tells you about attraction. The more you chase it, the more it runs away. The more you need someone's approval, the less appealing you become. This isn't some cruel joke the universe plays on us. There's real psychology behind why independence makes you irresistible. Think about the people who've captivated you most. Chances are, they weren't the ones constantly seeking your approval. They had their own lives, their own goals, their own sense of self that existed completely separate from you. They were whole people before you met them, and they'd remain whole people if you left. This is what psychologists call the scarcity principle. We value what seems rare or hard to get. When you're always available, always agreeable, always putting someone else's needs before your own, you're signaling that you're abundant and easily replaceable. Your time becomes worthless because you give it away freely to anyone who shows interest. Carl Jung wrote about the shadow self, the parts of ourselves we hide to gain acceptance. When you're constantly performing to please someone else, you're living entirely in your persona, the mask you wear for the world. But authentic attraction happens when someone sees glimpses of your real self and still chooses to stay. The irony is brutal. The very behaviors we think will make us more lovable actually push people away. Constant texting becomes suffocating. Always saying yes makes you boring. Having no opinions of your own makes conversations feel one-sided. You become a mirror reflecting back what you think they want to see, but mirrors aren't particularly interesting to be around. Alfred Adler talked about the inferiority complex, how our deep-seated feelings of inadequacy drive us to seek validation from others. When you enter relationships from this place of lack, you're essentially asking the other person to fill a void that only you can fill. That's an impossible burden to place on someone, and most people will run from that level of responsibility. Independence isn't about being cold or distant. It's about having a full life that you're genuinely excited about. It means having friends who make you laugh, hobbies that challenge you, goals that drive you forward. When someone becomes part of your life rather than the center of it, the dynamic shifts completely. Psychology research shows that people are most attracted to those who have what researchers call high mate value. This isn't about looks or money. It's about being someone others want to be around. You can't fake this by pretending to be busy or playing hard to get. Real independence comes from actually being engaged with your own life. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that our happiness shouldn't depend on external circumstances or other people's actions. When you truly internalize this, when your mood doesn't rise and fall based on someone's text response time, you become magnetic. People can sense when someone isn't trying to extract validation from them. This doesn't mean you should become emotionally unavailable or treat people poorly. Healthy relationships require vulnerability and emotional investment. But there's a difference between choosing to share your life with someone and needing them to complete you. The most attractive people are those who could walk away if they needed to. Not because they don't care, but because they know they'll be okay either way. This confidence shows up in how they speak, how they carry themselves, how they make decisions. They're not constantly calculating what the other person wants to hear. When you stop needing someone's approval, you start speaking your mind honestly. You express your real opinions, share your actual interests, set boundaries when necessary. Some people won't like this version of you, and that's exactly the point. You're not trying to appeal to everyone anymore. You're looking for someone who appreciates who you actually are. The paradox resolves itself when you realize that the best relationships happen between two independent people who choose each other, not two incomplete people who need each other. Need creates desperation. Choice creates desire. Your worth doesn't come from someone else choosing you. It comes from you choosing yourself first, building a life you're proud of, becoming someone you genuinely enjoy being. When you do this work, when you become truly independent, you don't just become more attractive to others. You become less desperate for their attraction in the first place.